Hey everybody, welcome back to This Day in History. It is May 5th, 2024. It's Cinco de Mayo. It's a rainy Sunday morning here. Yeah, it's a great day to be alive. So, at any rate, we're going to go into This Day in History for May 5th. Let's start off with the birthdays. Not one of my favorite people in history. 1818, on this day in 1818, Karl Marx was born. If you don't know who Karl Marx was, he was a German philosopher, the founder of Marxism, which would be the cornerstone blueprint for communism. He was. I really don't like him. I really don't like what he stood for. This guy was an interesting guy, in the sense that, you talk about someone who had an overinflated sense of entitlement. It was this guy. He felt that society owed him a living, and which is why and how he came up with the whole his Marxist views, which would be, like I said, the founding blueprint for communism. Several times in his life, he sued people to make a living, and the courts actually upheld his decisions. He would sue people for mundane stuff and consider a breach of contract and stuff like that. The man never really worked a day in his life. He didn't actually work for a living. He always held his hand out. And that was Karl Marx. In 1914, Tyrone Power, he's an American actor, was born. 1942, country crooner, American singer Tammy Wynette was born on this day in 1942. My scoutmaster, when I was in Boy Scouts, my scoutmaster actually pulled security duty for her when she would come to Portland. He pulled security duty for Elvis Presley, but I guess she had an overzealous band manager, and they took her security seriously, and they were on the stage, the edge of the stage there, and the band manager told those guys that they could not be where they were, and apparently she called the guy out publicly in front of the whole crowd and said, "Those two men stay there. They're my security detail, and you're free to go." So, up until his passing, she would send him Christmas cards. So it was. He always spoke highly of Tammy Wynette. 1988, on this day, Adele. She's a British singer and songwriter. I'm sure you've heard her music. I know I have. I'm not a big fan of her. I don't like her, but I don't dislike her. At any rate, her birthday's today. Chris Brown, who's an American singer. I don't listen to him either. He was born on this day in 1989. So let's get into it, all right? So in 1640, King Charles I of England, he dissolves short parliament. It was the first parliament summoned in 11 years. Didn't say why, just that he dissolved it. In 1809, a woman by the name of Mary Cries, she was the first woman to ever receive a U.S. patent. And that patent was for the process that she utilized in merging silk with straw to make hats and other headgear. In 1864, Generals Grant and Lee would engage in battle in what was known as the Battle of the Wilderness. It was near Fredericksburg, Virginia. There were 2 battles in the wilderness during the Civil War, and it was kind of a stalemate, really. The first battle, I believe, the Confederates just wiped the floor with the Union. And the second battle, I thought the Union came out on top on that one, but yeah, I'm not really sure. In 1904, Cy Young, he was a baseball player, pitcher. He pitched the first perfect game, as in, like, there were no scores. Perfect game, struck everybody out. 1945. This is kind of interesting. U.S. forces, along with some renegade German troops, they defeat the Waffen-SS in Tyrol, Austria. It was called the Battle of Castle Eder. And Nazis were holding French prisoners there, and this combined force of the United States soldiers and some renegade German troops, as in, like, they flipped, they switched sides, they went and fought the Waffen-SS, defeated them, and repatriated all those French prisoners. Also in 1945, there's something here closer to where I'm from, Gerhardt Mountain, Oregon. 6 people are killed by Japanese balloons. Okay, so what happened during World War II is Japan sent up balloons that, and they floated them across the Pacific. They had bombs attached to them. Basically, they were like bombers, really, that they wouldn't be detected. So what ended up happening was that, these bombs came over, they deployed. We actually had 6 people there in Gerhardt Mountain. 6 people were killed, but the Japanese soon stopped sending those balloon bombs over because they never heard anything. I mean, they were keeping tabs on American news media outlets. President Roosevelt had actually asked the media to not publish the story about these Japanese balloon bombs, and rightfully so. I mean, like, he asked the media. He didn't tell them that they couldn't, but he asked them in the name of national security, and they agreed. They didn't publish the stories, and the Japanese just assumed that the balloons were a failure, and they dropped in the Pacific, and that was that. So we only lost 6 people as a result of that. In 1961, Alan Shepard would have a 15-minute flight in suborbit. He would go down in history as being the first man in space. He was in Freedom 7 was the name of that. It wasn't a shuttle. It was, the spacecraft that they used at the time. And on this day in 1973 was the Kentucky Derby, and the famous horse Secretariat. Secretariat won the Kentucky Derby on this day in 1973. So that concludes. Oh, I'm a little out of order here. Today is Mexican holiday, Cinco de Mayo. What is Cinco de Mayo? Well, I'm glad you asked. In 1862, the Mexican army repelled the French forces of Napoleon III, and it was the Battle of Pueblo, and that it was a significant battle. It was a it kind of like really turned the tide of the war. It was one of those things where they it it really determined the course of that war, and it gained their independence. And so Mexican culture, the Cinco de Mayo for the Mexican culture is basically the same as the 4th of July for us Americans. So it was a battle that was fought. They defeated the French forces of Napoleon III. It would later go down to enable them to gain their independence and become an independent state, a sovereign state. And, the rest is history. That happened in 1862. Clearly, we had stayed out of that conflict because we were embroiled in our own civil war at the time. Here goes my car again. We stayed out of it because it was really a fight between the Mexican government, which we really didn't have any issues with at the time, again, because we were embroiled in our own civil war. And in, Spain had claim over Mexico, but, Napoleon III, those are French forces. So the French are messing with Mexico. So it was one of those things where, they fought for their own revolution, their own independence there, and they got it. So that was, so this is a special day for the Mexican people where they celebrate their independence, and it's right up there with us on the 4th of July. Realistically, what it comes down to is it's for us Americans, it's another holiday for us to assimilate, adopt, appropriate, whatever, because you could bet there's going to be a lot of folks, using today as an excuse to go out and drink. We're Americans, is what we do. We have Memorial Day, we have Labor Day, we have New Year's Eve, we have 4th of July, and then we appropriate St. Patty's Day and and Cinco de Mayo as drinking holidays, really. So, I don't partake anymore, but that's, I can remember back in the day when I drank, I utilized all of those days as, potential for, indulging in the spirits, as it were. So, yeah. So this has been your day in history for May 5th. We'll do it again tomorrow for May 6th. So, have a blessed day, everybody. Take care. Enjoy your Sunday. And if you have great weather, enjoy the great weather. If not, well, just enjoy the sunshine, I suppose. I got to remember that, the old adage was that April showers bring May flowers. And, well, we're into May, so we're still going to have some showers. But, precipitation is a good thing. As long as it's not, causing floods and such, it's a good thing. It waters the crops, which we use to eat. It gives life-giving rain, so that's a good thing. At any rate, just look for the blessings in everything you find in life. Like you're watching this video now, you're drawing breath. That's a blessing right there. Not that the blessing is watching this video, but the blessing is, you're given another day to live, so go make it count. Go do something great today. So that's my pep talk for the day. So this has been This Day in History for May 5th, and I appreciate you stopping by and watching these videos. Just have a blessed day. Take care, and we'll talk to you again soon. All right? Bye.